Hey guys, it's Paul Lynch. I'm an anesthesiologist and pain management doctor from Scottsdale, Arizona. Many of you have followed me over the last couple of years as I've given updates on the COVID virus from time to time. Early on, I went to New York and worked and kind of saw, COVID firsthand and the effects it had on people. And it's been hard for me just to, step away. I feel like any chance that I get where I can educate and help people with this terrible, terrible disease, I want to continue to do that. And today's one of those days. I haven't made a video in a couple of months because COVID, started to come down a little bit. We got through the Delta wave and, I kind of went back to work. But with Omicron kind of raging through the world, I've had a lot of questions recently, people reaching out and asking me, what's going on? What do we do? And so I decided just to make a quick video today, kind of catching people up. So what is Omicron? Well, Omicron is a variant of the COVID-19 virus. It was first discovered just about 40 days ago in Botswana first and then South Africa. And it kind of raged through South Africa very, very fast and then hit the United States, 3 weeks ago or so. What's crazy is that just in about 3 weeks, Omicron has become the dominant version of the virus overnight. So a report last week showed 73% of all cases that were sequenced were Omicron. And the week before, it was only like 15%. When the report comes out next week, I expect it to be 95 to 99%. It's just growing that fast. Why is it spreading so fast? Well, we don't completely know, but there's 50 different mutations on this virus, and over 30 of those mutations are in the spike protein. What does that mean? Well, if you guys remember, these different vaccines that were made last year all kind of went after this spike protein because it was this little spike on the outside of the virus, and we could sequence the mRNA sequence that looked just like that and put that into your body, and then your body would recognize that. So if you ever got the actual COVID virus, your immune system would say, hey, we've seen this before. Well, over 30 of the mutations in this Omicron virus all occur in that spike protein. And so it does a couple of things. One, it's more transmissible. And two, it's been able to evade our vaccines. Now, before people freak out too much, it looks like it's evading the vaccines pretty well, but it's still, if you've been vaccinated, it reduces your chance of hospitalization or death significantly. So the vaccines still work for what they were created for, which is to stop death. But a lot of people who've been vaccinated are getting Omicron because of the mutations. Another kind of positive thing that I'll point out is if you go get boosted right now, your chance of getting Omicron goes way down. So the people who have the very best chance of not getting Omicron right now this winter are those who have been vaccinated twice and then get a booster. I know a lot of people are sick of shots and sick of talking about it, but I would just say the science is pretty clear that getting boosted right now is the smartest thing you can do. So let's get back to how this is, being transmitted. So a lot of people are saying that Omicron, and I will just say, this is so early, we don't completely know. So some of the stuff that I'm saying right now, in a couple of weeks, we may figure out it's not true, and I'll try to come back and update the video, but I want to give you the best kind of understanding that we have right now. The best understanding we have right now is that Omicron is just as transmissible as the measles, which is a crazy thing. A lot of people throw out the measles whenever they talk about, viruses that are really transmissible. We use that as an analogy with Delta, for example. But Delta ended up being R0 of around 6. And what does that mean? That means for every person who got Delta, they infected about 6 others. That's pretty terrible. It was like 2 to 3 times worse than the original COVID virus. But Omicron looks like it's more like 10 to 12. And so that means for every person who gets Omicron, 10 to 12 others they'll infect, including those that have been vaccinated, that's the part that's really scary. Now, what's the good part? Well, there is some good stuff in here. It looks like from the data from South Africa, where it just kind of ripped through the country very, very fast, that the death rates have stayed fairly low. Maybe a little spike on there. I can do a screenshot and maybe share the South African data on death. And so there's been massive cases, but not a lot of hospitalizations and death. Now, it's all relative. I'm going to talk about the numbers here in a minute, but if everyone gets Omicron, which is quite a possibility this winter, then we'll still overwhelm hospital systems. We'll still have a lot of death, but proportionally compared to Delta or previous versions of COVID virus, there's going to be a lot less death and hospitalizations, and that's a good thing. Now, what about the bad? The bad is this is spreading so fast. We haven't seen anything like it. Like, I know we always say that. We've never seen anything like this, but We've never seen anything like this so far in the pandemic. Let me just go through some of these numbers so you know what I'm talking about. In the world yesterday, which was Thursday, December 23rd, 2021, we had almost 1 million cases that were reported. So 980,000 cases reported across the world. That's the single biggest number in history. Most data scientists are saying for every case that's reported, there's between 3 and 5 cases we don't know about. So that's 3 to 5 million cases across the world yesterday of people that got infected with Omicron. And it's only day 40, so it's going up, 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 up. The United States alone, we had 267,000 cases. That's our biggest number since last winter. And more importantly, the projections show there was probably 1 million people right before Christmas who got infected with Omicron. And so if you start to track this out and what it's going to look like over the next couple of months, I'm going to put a link below to covid19.healthdata.org. I've been using this projection website since the beginning, and they've generally been pretty close. I don't want to say spot on, but in the ballpark of what's going to happen. And so they kind of show what's going to happen over the next couple of months. This is a research consortium out of Washington, a lot of epidemiologists, really smart people, predicting where we're going. And it's quite shocking. So they show in the United States, the peak being around January 27th or 8th. And get this, they're saying that we're going to have around 3 million people a day who are coming down with COVID. Now, probably it'll be closer to 1 million cases that are reported because there's only so many tests to go around. But it looks like around 3 million Americans every single day will be coming down with Omicron. So that sounds like the worst thing that's ever happened, and it is very bad. But if there's an 80 or maybe even a 90% reduction in hospitalizations and an 80 or 90% reduction in death, and with so many people have been vaccinated and many people that are going to get boosters over the next couple of months, I think what's going to end up happening is the death rates and everything will be similar to last year. If you guys remember, we were losing 2, 3, sometimes 4,000 people a day last winter, and it looks like we're setting up for a very similar type winter. When we come out of this, it is possible that Omicron is one of the vehicles that help us get through this for good. I always try to look on the positive side of things. It's my personality. I can't help it. But this is going to sweep through the country so fast and so quickly and basically vaccinate everyone. It's going to inoculate with natural immunity everyone that stands in its path. And so it's possible 150 million Americans will get Omicron over the next 90 days. And if that happens, depending on the type of immunity that Omicron confers, it actually sets up for a better 2022, which I think is a good thing. So what can you do about it? Well, number one, get a booster. Well, I guess number one, get vaccinated if you haven't been vaccinated. It will decrease your chance of getting the disease, and if you do get Omicron, it will decrease your chance of getting hospitalized and decrease your chance of death. Number two, if you've been vaccinated, get a booster. Don't wait 6 months. Get a booster at probably 2 months. And that will certainly decrease your chance not only of getting Omicron, but hospitalizations and death. The other stuff, it's the same playbook. It's wearing a mask in public again. It's socially distancing. It's hanging out with groups of people that are smaller. It's washing your hands. And of course, getting tested. If you're having a hard time getting tested, you can reach out to me. We started testing at all 4 of our clinics to make a dent in this pandemic. So if you reach out to me, we can probably get you tested next week if you're worried. One thing I didn't say, the symptoms of Omicron are a lot like the cold, so it doesn't sound as scary. For most people, you're just going to have a runny nose, congestion, you'll be stuffed up, and you might not even know it's COVID. You just think you have allergies or a cold. So you can reach out if you want to get tested. It's important to know if you have it so you don't spread it to others, because for 80, 90, 95% of people, they're going to be just fine. But for the elderly, for the vulnerable, for the immunocompromised, for some of our patients, it could lead to death. And that's the issue that we're trying to avoid. So I'm gonna put some links below, as I always do. If you guys have questions, please reach out to me. Stay safe this winter. God bless you guys. I'll talk to you soon.